Hi, Tati. I'm Henry.
Hi, Henry. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us at Cool Moms Cool Tips today. We're very excited to talk to you, very excited about your trajectory. As a matter of fact, Mr. Selick is the man behind classics that I personally love. I'm sure all of you love as well. Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and of course, Coraline. Who can forget that? So let's dig right into it because today we're going to talk about Wendell and Wild. My first question to you is talking and naming these amazing classics that are forever in our lives. Did you feel any pressure to outdo them somehow?
Well, I mean, I think the pressure was not to repeat myself and not sort of rely on exactly what worked before. So I'm always interested in finding some new territory to explore, and then not so much to worry about the competition with the old films, but just to like make it a little more fresh. And you could tell it might be from the same director, but has new ideas.
Yes, makes total sense. And the little that I've seen so far has been amazing. I'm already in love with the whole production. And talking about fresh, it's been a while since we last saw a stop motion from you. So in working on this project, did you see anything that you went, wow, this is how we're doing stop motion now? Or anything that impressed you about how things are done now in regards to stop motion?
Yeah, it has been a long time since Coraline was made. I did have another stop motion project that was in development after Coraline, but it didn't happen. Um, I'd say the main two things that have changed uh, between then and now was the idea that there's streaming, that you know to put an unusual film or a challenging film out at the theaters and have to win that big box office weekend, that's very intimidating and very challenging. So I was very happy that with modern streaming and Netflix, who is our studio, we knew it would find an audience because it doesn't have to succeed that first weekend. It has a long time for people to hear about it and come in. Um, the other thing was I wanted to actually go a little backwards, and I wanted to make sure it did not look like a CG movie
Uh-huh.
where everything is so perfect and perfect. Because stop motion, why do stop motion if it ends up looking just like CG? So purposely made it a little rougher, a little more like handmade, um, and left some more mistakes in and so forth. I call it, we call it charm. But
I love it.
yeah,
Yes, and that's fantastic because it was one of my questions. But now I want to take a step back, and I want for us to talk a bit about the inspiration for the film. I know that you wrote it a while ago, and you kind of got inspiration from your kids. But can you elaborate a little more on that?
yeah. This is something 20 years ago when my kids were little. They're men now. Um, they just acted up sometimes and would make faces and stuff, and I call them little demons. I did a little drawing, and then I thought, oh, I'd like to make a short story about demon brothers. I didn't. They were older though. The story, I didn't. The inspiration in the drawing might have come from them, but then the story was about something else. They were, adults. They were like grifters, con artists. Um, it's just a short story, like 7-page story, and I hope maybe I'd publish it or something, but nothing really happened with it. But the basic idea was there. These two demons who want to escape the underworld and make success in the land of the living, and Sister Helly was in it, and Raoul and Kat. Um, and so it was just, but it was just sort of put aside. Um, and then years later, I fell in love with the Key and Peele comedy show, and I met with them. And then Jordan wanted to do something, and I think it was with working with Jordan. He wanted to do more than a voice. He wanted to be a collaborator, a co-writer, and a producer. That's when the film really started to turn into what it became. And inspiration, well, I took a few things from real life. I wanted the villains to be humans, not the monsters. I wanted Kat to have actually gone through something very difficult, not just the death of her parents, but that she had been forced to be in the juvie justice system, which I know a lot about because my wife was an advocate for kids with special needs and problems. So it kind of, we wanted to just be a little more serious mixed with more humor, because I went to Key and Peele because I wanted some of their humor in a film. So it's kind of like what I've done in the past, but turning everything up, more humor, more seriousness, crazy fantasy, and it just, as far as other inspirations, there's no like other particular film or something else. It's more just like taking this little tiny story and then building a whole world out of it. And a few things from my own life, like, well, what's our hell gonna be? And so it's gonna be, you're gonna be trapped on a ride you can't ever get off at an amusement park because the operators are crazy. They're not gonna stop.
Yeah, no, that's very scary to me. So I'm gonna ignore that. But I wanted to come back on talking about hell. What type of place is this? How did you come up with a concept for it?
Yeah, there's the underworld, and it's a small hell, but it's not the hell. It's not the hell most people think of, where the souls of the damned. I always knew I wanted to have it be a smaller place, and it's the souls of the danged. I don't know if you know that word. There's danged and there's damned. Danged are people who are not as bad. They're the crooked lawyers and maybe some people at the DMV, the angry workers, and some meter maids. That's where they go.
Yes, now I know.
Yeah, so the tone would be that, and it was going to be this. I just felt this rundown amusement park because of my own experience as a kid at this park where the guy wouldn't stop. I thought, well, that's a funny idea, and you can't really be hurt. You're a soul. You're already dead. So the cars could crash and fall off the track, or the Ferris wheel can break, but you just have to get back on and keep going. So that's sort of the background and why I wanted it to sort of be a small little hell for the not very evil.
I love it. I love the concept. I also wanted to talk to you about the music, because it feels like the music, the Afropunk you're using, it almost is a character. Why that genre?
The whole Afro-punk thing initially just started with what's a look for Kat that's kind of different, not something everyone knows, and but then it became something much bigger where it became this connection to her father. You see Kat when she first dresses up in her Afro-punk, and she seems rebellious and powerful and so forth, and she is. But underneath it all, it became a connection to her father, that he loved the first generation of Black and brown punk music when he was young, and that he shared that with Kat. And Afropunk's kind of like the modern interpretation of that. So it became this connection between those two. And then it was a case of like, well, what would Dad have listened to? What types of songs and what type of songs work for these scenes, and some of the songs that Kat listens to of her dad's, and then what are some newer songs. So it became based on the story and that connection. It just became, this is important to pick the right songs for each of these moments.
That's
And
absolutely beautiful. That's phenomenal. But I think that it's going to be as beautiful as the film promises to be. Congratulations. Thank you. And we can't wait to see it.
I
Thank
gotta
you for
tell you one more thing. You're
Yes,
about cool moms. This
Yes.
film, it really will be okay for 10-year-old and up,
Love it.
and maybe 8 if they're brave.
Crossing fingers for all those brave 8-year-olds.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure.
Great talking with you, Tati. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.